Good morning. Sunday morning, still playing. Last weekend I got some paper, 12 by 12 scrapbook paper from a lady on a yard sale, and these little strips were in the packaging that I cut up. So what I thought I would do, they're all kind of white on the back. What I thought I would do is do some belly band cluster strips, using up some scraps, and just see where we end up with that. So I'll have some book page included and some music paper included. I've got some already pre-cut little bits of music paper. Some of these are inked, so that could add some interest. And I've got a whole bunch of coffee dyed, of course. Scraps. And these will probably today just be bases. I've got some map that's kind of really old that I've used in a couple projects and have just sort of bits and pieces left now. So not enough to feature in a project, but just enough to add to snippets. So that's 3 types plus coffee dyed. That should be enough. And we'll just see what we can create here. So I thought I would do most of this torn edges and squarish edges. And then what I might do is sort of just go down the middle. And then I had an idea of using up some of my butterflies that I got in a swap. I got a whole bunch, and doing like butterflies all down the edge or something just to give it a cool look. So it's kind of just in my head so far. I'll see how it turns out. Might have to stop while I go get my butterflies. I'm just going to hang these slightly over the edge. I'm not sure. They're probably going to be belly bands or page edges, so you're probably not going to see the back, but I may end up coffee dyeing, covering the back with coffee dyed paper as well. Maybe with a torn edge that shows on the front even. I could probably go ahead and do that. I'll wait and see what I come across for. It's already cardstock, so it doesn't need to be anything durable. So there's some book page. Let's throw down some music page. I'm going to just cut this in half. I don't want to use it lengthways. I want to use it sideways for whatever reason. I think because I'm thinking on this one that I'll have this edge, butterflies all down one edge, and leave this edge kind of scrappy in and out, if that makes sense. This can be down here. I'll get some map in there in the mix. So I'm just, basically it's just kind of rectangles. I think I will use my ruler to get this edge more like the other edges. It's not going to because it's such old, fragile paper. This was a map of Northumberland, which is the county where I live. So I'll just stick that there, and because it's not reaching over very far, I'm just going to put a piece of coffee dye beside it. This is all scraps left over from the projects I did this morning. Rather than try to put all these scraps away, I thought I'll just use them up. Take you along for the ride. And I'll do this little piece of coffee dyed here. Let's take that little tip off. I'm in a swap where I have to send ephemera that I've made, so this can be one of the things that I send, which will be kind of neat. Something hot off the presses, as they say. Another piece of music. I'm going to put a little strip of coffee dyed again. Next. And I also have that edge sticking out at a different level, different width. I just don't want this perfect. I want it jagged. And then some map again, I think. It's a great way to use up scraps. And there's a little bit of map that I can also stick somewhere. Maybe just here. And same thing, another little coffee dyed scrap that's not much good for anything else. Stick that there. A lot of this might be covered, I don't know yet how far the decoration down the side is going to go in. I might have to leave you for a second to go grab my butterflies, because this idea has come to me as I'm talking, so I don't have that ready. That happens to me sometimes. Get myself nice and gluey. There we go. Let's pull that down. And there's another bit of coffee dye that can go. Let's see, where do I want to put this? I guess it can go here. This edge is going to be covered anyway. I don't care that it's square. So these were just off of the cardstock off of a pad of paper is what they are, if you hadn't figured that out. And do some more music down here maybe. Again, might be covered, but don't know yet. I always try to make it pretty even before I re-embellish it, because then it just gets prettier and prettier when you add more things. But if you don't, it still looks nice. There's a few spots that I'm missing, so I'm going to use up some of these eensy-weensy little pieces just to cover those spots that didn't quite get covered. It's all good. And I'm actually making quite a dent in my little scrap pile that's off to the left from making my little journal this morning. Oops. So that makes me happy. And then just a little bit more to do up at this end. I have map, book, music. I can put map up at the top here. I just love using old maps in my collages. Out yard sailing yesterday, kind of keeping my eye open for some, but I didn't find any. And then, oh, I need some more book page down there. I'll put this one up here sideways. And I'll put this piece down here sideways, maybe just half of that. So I'm not covering up everything else. There, so that's one done. Let's stick this on the next one. since it's already glued. And while I'm at this, I think I will put the coffee dyed paper on the back. It probably doesn't need it because it's probably going to be a belly band. I was just thinking of having a different edge behind all these rough edges so you could really see it, but maybe that even needs to be like a color once I figure out what color my butterflies are going to be. So I'm just going to go grab those. They're kind of on my mind, so I don't want to forget. Give me 1 second. I think I know exactly where they are. You're gonna love my butterfly box. It's a candy box. Special candies that I buy on the Alderville First Nations Reserve. They're called bombs. They have special ingredients in them. Anyway, I just covered the label with some purple paper, and to identify the box, I put a little butterfly on the edge. Instead of a label that says butterflies, I just put a butterfly sticker there. And I did the same thing with my dragonfly box. So the other day, a little while ago in a swap, I got just mega butterflies. So I thought, instead of hoarding them, which would be my usual inclination, I thought I would do a little collage down the side of a belly band with all different butterflies. I've got a lot of blue ones. Some of these are too big for what I'm thinking. There's some sticker ones in there too. And if this works out, I'll be on the hunt for even more butterflies. Yeah, these ones are a bit big for this. All pretty, but I'll find some other way to use those. This, it looks like it's going to be blue, mostly blue. Maybe a couple of pink ones. Maybe one has a focal point, one larger one, or maybe a different colored larger one as a focal point. It stands out a bit more. I just love all these. And the other thing I can add in behind them is some lace. Those ones are a little, I want to save those for some other project because they're more turquoise. But I'll use all these little blue ones. My favorite color is like turquoise or teal or blue. And I'm going to leave this edge that's nice and jagged alone and do this edge with the dragonflies, or the butterflies, sorry. So I was kind of just thinking, I just realized I do want to add lace, so I'm going to add a strip of lace all the way down. Let's just lay this out first. I'll cut this off a little long so we have some to play with. And that's not really showing up very well. Maybe what I'll do is when I've got the butterflies, I'll glue this to the back of them to kind of help hold them together a little bit, because I'm imagining them kind of going off of the edge of the belly band, if you can follow my meaning. I might even need to put something else in between them, but the clusters that inspired this that I've seen were pretty solid. I might not even have enough to do it how I'm envisioning it. I have to mix different colors and stuff in. What could I do? I could put a big one in the middle, like I said. Maybe a different colored large one in the center. Is this one too large? Maybe something like this. Maybe the lace is going to need to be a little wider. I'm working this out in my head, guys, sorry. If I have a really big one, then I might have enough to do all the way down the rest of the band. You see where I'm going with this? These. And how symmetrical I really need it to be. And then again, too, I might need to cut it down when the time comes. Like this might be way longer than I need, so I gotta be careful about that too. If I want to use this in, most of my journals are going to be about this size, where it's one page folded, like an 8.5 by 11 folded in half. So then that belly band is too long, you see. It only needs to be, so that's what I should consider first, is this is the most likely length that I would need. But if I had a couple extra dragonflies that I cut off of it, it wouldn't matter, would it? I could use them as some other, like a tab in that same journal. So let's just continue on with this idea. This will definitely be in front of everything. And maybe, I don't think this is going to work on the outside edge. I think I'm going to put it here, even though it'll be very subtle. I could even make it a place to tuck something. No, I think I'm just going to glue that down, because I want the butterflies on top of it. So I'm just going to glue that down right here. I'm just doing it. I've got it worked out enough in my head that I know that I can figure it out from here. So I'm going to glue this down this way. That's that decision made and done. And now it's just all the butterflies. So I kind of have them laid out symmetrically. Like this one in the middle. And I suppose there's no harm in going ahead and laying that down. And I'm going to move it in. I don't want it sticking out so much further than the rest of them. So let's just do it. Grabbing the wrong glue. And I just realized I could have made that into a tuck spot. That's okay. See, it's not going to be very pretty on the back, but I could even, I can still put coffee dyed paper on the back. It's not a big deal. Okay, so that's that main focal point, and I think the pink and blue is going to be pretty together. I could have also done like a different type of butterfly, like a more 3D one for the middle. I've got these fabric-y ones, but we'll go with this for now. This is the first attempt. And then this one that's kind of flying sideways. of it poking out. And then I'm going to keep this symmetrical this way. Kind of. Poking out. And then this guy on top. Maybe going. I have a hard time doing random, and I kind of want it to look random. Maybe I need a little plain one in between. That's the problem. It's too much pattern there. I'll put this little guy poking out from under that and hanging off the edge too, even though he's little. And then this guy can come back in here and overlap him. I still think he should be on a bit of an angle. Yeah. You don't have to cover up so much of that plain one. I'm going to do the same thing up here. Does this one angle towards the middle still, or does it angle towards the top? I guess butterflies do fly in all directions, so he can angle down. You're seeing all this? Let's try it this way for you. Might help me to see it from this angle too. And actually, now that I'm laying them out, I'm not using maybe as many as I thought I was going to. So I'll put another plain one on each side. I could do this with flowers. I've got tons of flowers right now too. And this I'm going to angle the other direction. I saw this, I don't know if it was just on Pinterest or in a Facebook group, this idea. And I thought, oh, I gotta try that. I'm not so sure about the pink in the middle now. Wondering if it should have been blue. Oh, that might be too much blue. Could have been a flower too. And then maybe this half one again and save those other two blue butterflies. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'm kind of happy with that. Symmetrical, but not exactly the same. And that leaves me a little snippet to use somewhere. So belly band. That's a pretty color scheme. I like it. Let's do another one. Okay, what did I do with those strips? So this one was from a Holiday Sparkle scrapbook kit. And this one isn't quite as thick, but it's still cardstock. I'll put my butterflies away. Let me pull out my flowers for this one. So I like these little boxes because they are like a little drawer. It has a little pull tab on it. And I thought I could cover the whole thing, but it's pretty. It's just got these bombs because it's chocolate bombs that comes in it. So yeah, I love those. So let's use up some more scraps on this. We'll do the same kind of thing with the little 3 papers plus In fact, I'll put both of these out. Maybe we'll do them both at the same time this time. Get them done. Let's start with some map. Get this used up. Put those plain pieces in there too. They're nicely aged. And glue stick. And let's just get some stuff laid down. Start at the bottom. This is a fun way to clean up your desk. It's not so, doesn't feel like work, but you're getting your desk cleaned up. Actually, you're making more of a mess before you make it better, but still. I'm gonna go ahead and glue this whole piece, and then I'll just rip it in half. Oh, that says, "You son of a bitch." I better not put that on there. Actually, I can just cover it. I can just cover it. Cover that with a piece of plain paper. And that says "Go to hell" too. I better cover that. I don't remember what book this came out of, but I obviously didn't read it and decide to use it. I just used it. Just cover up the stuff that looks not nice. Oh, I also have some little scraps of lined paper which can be put into this mix. And let's get some more coffee dye torn up. So, music. And again, I'm doing the same thing where it's kind of one side is just a jagged edge and the other side will have some detail. I don't know why. That's just what's in my head this morning. Usually I would be a let's make it symmetrical kind of girl. But for some reason this morning, this is in my mind. So this is what we're doing. It's the first time I've really done collage belly bands, but for some reason, this is just what I want to do. Just cover that. I'm pretty sure that this edge is where I'm going to put some detail so that straight edge won't be seen. And some more book page. That piece is sticking to my finger, so it gets to get used. And I'm just thinking I don't want it upside down. Just do that. And some more map. Lined paper. Just tear this off. Put that down there. I've got a little spot down here that didn't get covered for some reason. These tiny scraps can get used up for that. Give myself a bit of a jagged edge along the bottom instead of, even though it's probably going to be trimmed. And then when the time comes, if I have to trim it for height, I can just add a couple more scraps of paper to give it a jagged edge at the bottom if I want. I don't want it so perfectly cut across. It won't be easy to tear. Kind of sticking down. I should do this on plastic so that I can peel it up. I guess I could use some music about here. And again, just trying to get that edge going in and out a bit. Put something right in here, maybe just a piece of the plain. This is probably going to be covered. And I would rather have that this way. Tiny little piece. Not so tiny, but this will do. Some more music. It's really handy having them already pre-cut. I spent one whole evening just cutting them and cutting up music paper and inking the edges. I think my husband thought I was crazy just sitting there inking all evening while we were watching television, but it got it done, and now I have it so that I can quickly make an easy collage with it. Instead of stopping, cutting a page up, or ripping a page up, inking all the edges. It just slows you down too much when you're in the zone creating. So it's better to have it already pre-done. And I've got these little boxes that my business cards come in, and I just use them to store the little cut up pieces. So what's next on this right hand side? Some book page, I think. Make sure there's nothing weird on there. Cover the whole thing in one spot there. And then map. Time for some more map there. Nice to have this particular map used up. Had it going for a while. Today I'm going to put that the other way around. Small lined paper. A little bit of the coffee dyed. And then these tiny little bits, instead of tossing them, they're already sticky, I'll just stick them down somewhere. That seems to want to lift up, so I'll give it a little more glue. Rolling the glue off my fingers every few seconds. I should just use that thing instead of getting my fingers all gluey, but I forget. I'm trying to make it a habit, but there's something about a G string. And a bloody nose, that's not a very good book page to use. Strange combination. Yeah, a little bit of a love scene. No, that's not pleasant. Something about being trapped and curse words. No. And more map up in this corner. That will just about finish it off. You just overlap a little bit. One more piece up in the corner, which would be maybe just coffee dyed. Let's see what I've got here. That's a good one. Just tear it a bit. Okay, that's one. And then this one's just about done too. We'll put some more music. What goes at the very top? Book page. There. That's those. Now let's see if I can quickly run and grab my flower box. Don't think it's out here. And use up some flowers. Because after all, if I use them up, that means I can buy some more. Let's see what I've got here I want to use today. Let's do some of these. These are all on the little foam tabs, which I don't really want them that thick. So I'm going to take those off. My little pokey tool and get in underneath that there and just get that off. And then part of what I liked about these is that they're 2 layers. So I can get double my bang for my buck if I take that layer off and just rub that sticky off. And then that can be a flower and this can be a flower. If you hadn't thought of that, that's a good tip, especially for, you know, easier on the budget. A little empty Kleenex box at the top of my desk that I just use for little bits of trash. I suppose these little glue foam dots, I could save them, but I really don't use them. So there's a yellow one, yellow and kind of yellow and pink, yellow and peach. So again, just a bit of rubbing on that and it'll loosen off without damaging the sticker. And then let's do this pale one. I think it's just 2. I was thinking it looked like it might be 3 layers, but it's just 2 different sizes, which is interesting. Some of them are, well, I guess these were different too. Slightly different shapes. So it gives it a really good 3D look. I don't know if this is the tool I should be using for this. Maybe I should be using more of a flat spatula kind of tool. I don't have one handy. I've got this one that's kind of like a, I think it's a clay tool. That might work well. Yeah, it does work well. It's underneath it. Always thinking of different ways to use the tools. So this has given me quite an assortment of flowers. And again, I want sort of that focal point to be bigger and brighter than the rest or something. One that's in the middle. It's not really my favorite. I'm not a red person, but I want to use it. And you know what? I don't really have to go all the way to the end either. I think I'd rather have that as the focal. And have them at different maybe I will add a couple of these. Sorry, I don't think you could see what I was doing there. I tend to hold things pretty close to my body sometimes when I'm working. That worked pretty good. I love pink and yellow together. I'll put that there. Same thing over here. And then just lace from there on, maybe. I only need one of those because it's the focal. And it's not my favorite. Maybe I'll do a different focal. I have another one that's big enough. This one is a little more pink. Take that off the back. Excuse me. I think I like that better. All the pinks and yellows. Would I maybe want to insert? Only have one more of those. I want to insert more pink down here maybe and make that stretch that out a little further. It's probably long enough for most journals that I'm going to do. The other thing I could do is put some little lace bits in with it too. Maybe alternate to stretch them out. The idea was to have it like flowers galore, but I could add some lace too. Now, let's stick to the plan. So I do want this one in the middle, and then one of these on each side. And that one can stick out a little further. Maybe I'll put that lace thing on where you can see it on the inside here, and that'll raise that up just a little bit, even though I didn't want the glue dots for that reason. And maybe that's not quite big enough. Maybe I'd be better off with a white one that's a bit larger. These are some other ones that I pre-cut the other day. That's going to be too much, I think. I'll just cut one of these. This white will maybe show up better against the book page. I'm calling this the middle. I don't know if it is. Let's glue this down and see where we go from here. I even need some more little bits of lace as I go along. So this I want more on the face of the page, of the belly band. And then this flower will go there, sticking out a little bit. I do like that better than the red one. The red will be better in the fall for me. I want that hanging off, so I just glued on half of it. And then these pink ones, I think this one I'm going to put over top, and this one I'm going to put underneath, just so I'm not too symmetrical and predictable. And I'm going to have them hanging, actually maybe I'll just glue on the page, and then I don't get any glue coming off onto my worktop. That. I'd rather glue the flower. And then these really bright ones. This glue's getting to be done. And then the smallest one will be almost entirely on the belly band, just barely poking out. So there's that. I think I could use some more lace down here, so I'm just going to take this same one that I already cut into and cut a couple of these little tiny pieces off. And that's going to leave me with a couple of singles, which is fine. Probably have more use for them than anything. And then I'll do this like sort of here and here. Again, I do like my symmetry. So just a few dabs. And I'm going to put those in front of the flowers. And then I could put some jewels, maybe, or a pearl or something in the middle of those. So I've got a little tiny, this is such a minuscule amount for me because I have a whole room full of beads. But just so that I had something to bring out here, I put this little box together, and I'll just put them out onto some fabric so they don't roll around too much. You can see them. Got a couple of little white pearls. I don't know if they're too thick though. As a belly band, I want it kind of flat. So maybe that's not the best idea. If if it was on, I guess if it was on the front of a book, it would be fine. It might not be a belly band, it might be a page edge. Maybe I'll leave that until I decide how I'm using it, because if it's a belly band, I don't want to make it that thick. Sorry, a little aside that didn't go anywhere. But there's that, so that's pretty. And then let's do this one. Pick a different sticker pack. So we have 3 different designs. We're getting to be almost an hour now, so I better wrap this up and get this other one decorated without so much fussing. So let's do some carnations. Actually, you know what? I've got a few packs of these, so let's do these. This is a totally different vibe. And that's always good to have different ideas floating around. So again, I think the blue is going to be the center point. This is a little slippery because it's plastic, not paper. Oh, that's not coming off as easy. Let's do this first. It sticks better to the plastic, I guess. Maybe I better just leave it on. But that's got no center now. Yeah, that was actually not printed in the center, so I'll have to put maybe a button or something on that. I'll leave it as my center point anyway. And then maybe I'll do smaller ones on each side. And let's try not being symmetrical. I mean, it's about the same size, but it's a different color. And then same thing again, pink, and then orange. And let's just do that and leave it at that. And then what I can do for the rest is maybe some other little gems or flat backs or charms to finish out the page, but I'll decide that at the time, because I do want to wrap this video up too for you. You've been watching long enough if you've been watching this far. Want to watch more, there's plenty more where this came from. You can always watch a playlist. So let's glue these down. I'm going to leave the blue one for last because I want it on top. I've got these roughly where I want them. Again, I'm going to leave these on this time, the foam backers, but I'm going to put them right on the edge so that that's hanging out a bit. And then, because I want this on top of these, I may need to put something else on it. Let's see. I'll just put these close. And I'm proud of myself for doing different colors on each side. Might seem silly to you, but it's hard for me to do, so glad I tried it. Looks good. And then is this going to be, yeah, that'll stick down. And I'm just going to put glue onto the foam bit. I just finished saying that I don't use those. And then I just need to find something to put in the middle there, and it can't be like a flower, that's the wrong vibe. A button to me comes to mind, but I don't have one handy. I'm going to go grab one just so we can wrap this up. just kind of grabbed the first one that I saw. Hopefully it'll be a good color. I think that works. And then it can just cover up that part that wasn't printed on the blue flower or whatever it is. So I hope you enjoyed watching me do these little projects, and each one came out a little bit different than the rest, which is always fun. And I'm sure as I make more of them, they will get more and more interesting, but I just was wanting to play with this collaging the edge idea. And so again, it can be used along the edge of a page and be poking out, or it can be a belly band, and it could decorate both sides if it's going to be a belly band. It could be the top of a pocket along the bottom of a page or along the side of a page. There's just so many ways you can use all of these things. So anyway, thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're inspired by it. So like, comment, share, subscribe. See you in the next video. Have a great day.